Hello everyone, I'm Rachel Tessman from stampyourartout.com. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the US in Andover, Minnesota, and I'm here to bring you another live paper crafting class here on YouTube. It's Wednesday, December 2nd at 11 a.m. Central Time as I'm broadcasting to you live. I love YouTube Live because you can go to a link and you can even start having a conversation with the other people that will be live with you before the live even begins. I don't know, it's a blessing. I love reading the comments as I'm hastily trying to get my lighting right or adjust my supplies, whatever. So thank you, I love it. Anyways, welcome, welcome. I am gonna show another fun fold card today. And this card, I've been seeing all of a sudden a few videos from like years back have been popping up in my YouTube feed, like notification feed. And so I thought, well, I'm gonna share it with you. It's a little gift bag that pops up inside of a card. And I've seen different versions with it. I've seen, where it's just an actual card with the gift bag in it. And I've seen one that was kind of square. So different versions, and so I don't know who to give credit to because I don't know who created it or who started the trend of these videos out there, but I'm going to do my version using Stampin' Up! Products, and the products I'm going to be using today are in two different collections. One collection is the Gingerbread and Peppermint, and that's a suite of products, and then the other collection is a collection that part of it is an early release from the upcoming mini catalog that will start in January. And then the other part is, what do you want to call it? Exclusive. It's going to be available while supplies last. And it was released this past month in November and is now still there. So if you have not checked it out yet, I'm going to share that with you. It's called Eden's Garden Collection. What else do I want to tell you? I'm going to show you the card beforehand, I promise. And let's welcome Trisha. So who's Trisha? For those of you that are new to my lives, glance in the comments that are live and you can see her name pop up. She is the one with a little symbol next to her name that looks like a little wrench, and her name's Trisha Joseph. She is my moderator. She's the one who is like my right-hand man, right-hand woman. She's the one who answers questions and guides you to the right places and makes sure that the conversation is going in the right direction. Sometimes she has to get rid of what we call trolls. Have you guys heard of that before? So like sometimes people will randomly get on a YouTube live and just try to cause chaos. So she does that too. I don't know if you guys know that. She's amazing and I am so grateful for her. So make sure that you say hello and say thank you, Trisha. As I'm watching the comments roll in, one of the things that she just reminded me of is the supply list. So when I do a live video, I do add the supply list of products for whatever I'm demonstrating in the description of my video. And I'm laughing because right now my doorbell's ringing and I'm not home. I mean, my husband's not home to answer. I'm home. I'm hoping it's just like an Amazon delivery. Hopefully they won't keep ringing. Okay, a little sidetrack there. But yes, you can go to the description of my video and see those supplies. So if you're wondering what products I'm using, what colors I'm using, and you want to shop those products as we are doing the video, you can click on those. And that description remains in my video even after the live. So if you're like coming on after the live, it's a totally different time, totally different day or whatever, you can still scroll down or still go underneath the video and see the description to get that further information. Also in the description of my video is a link to my blog post. So every time I do a live, I link it to a blog post that goes live shortly after my video is done. And you can go there and see photographs then of the project or projects that I've created. You can see the measurements. You can print off a PDF sheet of the measurements and supplies, and you can scroll all the way down and see the remainder of the supplies. This is a huge day, by the way. December 1st, okay, it's first of the month. December 1st is the first day that demonstrators got to pre-order from an upcoming catalog that debuts January 4th. So it's been a little crazy on the demonstrator side of things. We have then obviously released a last chance list. So I'm going to be talking about some promotions at the end of my demonstration today that you'll want to stick around for if you are a fan of Stampin' Up! Product. What else do I want to tell you? If you want to tag Trisha, and she did comment on this too, you put a little @ sign, so the A with a circle around it. Put that down as you're typing in the live, commenting, and then start typing her name right away. Don't have a space, just @ sign and then TRICIA. So if you have a question that she missed or whatever, just tag her and she'll be able to see it a little bit better. Let's show the card first. Let's do that. Okay, here we go. So, and I shouldn't say just card, because we're going to do 2 cards. So this is one of the cards. This is the first one that I'm going to walk you through a little bit more in detail, and then I'm going to do another one that's a quicker version. So I've got a little magnetic closure on here. I'm going to show you how to add that. When you open it up, you can see it's kind of wrapped onto itself so that anything inside this little gift bag will not fall out. And the gift bag is angled to the side, so that your gift card, like if you had it this way, it would fall out, that sort of thing. So we want to make sure that our gift card, which is in this cute little shopping bag, is not going to leave that little bag when someone opens it. So that's a great way to give a gift card at the holidays. I've got another version of that card, and that one is this one here. It pulls open a little bit differently. So when you open it, you're going to grab this little edge here. It's also magnetized, because I found the magnets work the best. And when you open it, it's more like a Z-fold open. You can see that here. So this is with the Eden's Garden products. The other one was with the gingerbread and peppermint products, and same type of thing. So slightly different measurements, which is why, and I should tell you this right now, I did not have time to add both supply lists and both sets of measurements in my blog post for today, which will go live at 12:15 p.m. Central Time, so about an hour and a quarter after I started the live. So I just stuck with this one today, but then on Friday you can come back and you can get the details and the photos and the measurement supplies, all that stuff, the PDF with printable kind of PDF for this card. But I'm going to explain it in this. I'm going to explain both of them in this video. And actually, let's just start with this one, because this was a version that I started out with. Thank you for sharing the video. I just saw that, Faylene. Thank you for your comment. Yes, you can make this card a little bit thicker if you don't care about how many layers you're putting on. And I wasn't thinking about that when I put together this first version. I sort of was, but I wasn't doing as well. And it turned out a lot thicker than I wanted. So this one still has that Z-fold opening like this. There's no layer here, which kind of makes it a little less thick. But I used designer paper instead of copy paper, or if you saw the Eden's Garden version, that's using a really, really thin paper called cotton paper. So that one is even thinner than copy paper. And but designer paper, you'd think it's thin, but when you're folding multiple times here, that's going to add a lot more thickness when you fold the whole thing shut. So it turned out to be a super thick kind of card, and that's why I kept on experimenting and doing different versions. So you'll see this card too, but this one won't show up in photographs until, I'm sorry, not Friday. Did I say Friday? Saturday's blog post is when I'll share the Eden's Garden one and then photos of this one, because this one shares the same base card measurements as the green card that I just showed. So before we begin with this, let's head over to the computer, and I'm going to pull this up first. It's been 2 weeks, you guys. Oh my goodness sakes, 2 weeks. I had to miss last week because it was Thanksgiving here in the US, and just crazy times. My kids had 3 days off of school. They only went 2 days, and I don't know, it just didn't fit. So thank you for letting me have a little week off there. I missed you though, because I was going to share this last week. So things are just piling up because I'm one of those people that, like, my creative ideas just keep coming and I can't share them fast enough. So it's a problem. So we have comments from 2 weeks ago, which means that for prizes from the last video from 2 weeks ago, people had 2 weeks to comment after the live to get in on that third prize. We'll talk about that in a minute. So here we have comments that I highlighted from 2 weeks ago. We had lots of people who were saying hello for the first time. I love it when you chime in, because comments win win you chances for prizes. So make sure that you're commenting either as the live's going on or after the live is over within that week, because you can get a chance for getting a prize. So thank you to those of you that told us where you were from, what you were doing, if it was your first live or if it's been a long time since your first live. What else do we have for comments? I love, let's see here. Let's see, Susan at the top. I appreciate your neatness. I am, like, organization was something that I love. Well, I love organizing. And so when I was looking for my first job, I wanted to put that on my list of interests or hobbies. And people were like, seriously, organization? I'm like, yeah, I love it. So yeah, I like to be organized, but so I'm glad that you recognize that, Suzanne, sorry. And Tammy, yes, she signed up as a demonstrator last month. Congratulations. And then we had some helpful tips from Jean, and Jean chimed in, and I love this. I just, here, hang on, I'm gonna get a block. So this is an idea, and some of, it wasn't just Jean that chimed in on this, but they take their stamp pad, instead of squeezing it, because the newer pads like this, the older pads were more flexible, but the newer pads are harder to squeeze, and you have to put a little strength into it. So instead of squeezing, just leave that one side, white. Don't worry about getting the ink here by squeezing your pad. They said, take your clear block and pick up the ink, and you can use that as your watercoloring palette. Now, that might be a little bit messy for some of you, especially if you have thinner blocks. But we have these ergonomic ones that are like 3/4 of an inch tall. So there's plenty of room if you set it on your table to pick it back up again. But if you have a thinner block, you could just dip the corner in, and then you'll still have a place to pick up the block when you're done using it and not get your hand inky. And then the sticky end of the take your pick tool for removing embossing powders. I had forgotten to share comments from the week before that. So thank you to Jody, who mentioned that idea. So little particles when you're embossing, if you have extra particles, just use that little sticky end and remove those. And then Cindy was asking, let's see, yes, you can choose who you're getting your orders from. You can choose who you're ordering Paper Pumpkin from. So just contact Stampin' Up! Or reach out to a demonstrator directly if you want them to help you out. I always forget to put this up here. Not that one, this one, that one's later. This is my website if any of you are meeting me for the first time and would like to reach out to me. So stampyourartout.com, and then my email address if you want to contact me directly. And let's see here. Oh, yes, every time, except for last week. So I try to go live every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Time, and you just convert that whatever time zone you're in. And then Luann had a wonderful, and a few of you, not as many as I thought, but a few of you chimed in with this. So remember the embossing? Okay, I was sharing new products with you on the last video, and I shared the Bouquet of Love hybrid embossing folder with the dies. She taught me new things. Seriously, this is the first time I've used the hybrid stuff, and maybe I'm just like in my own world. I must be. But when you do embossing and die cutting with the hybrid products, when they say hybrid in them, you can do it at the same time. You put your paper in there, and actually what I did is I put my die here, and then I put my paper on top, and I folded it, and when you run it through your die cutting machine, it embosses and cuts at the same time. So I'm sorry for any of you that I led astray on that last video. All right, I think it's time for us to start. Scroll ahead, everybody, if you, oh my gosh, I'm chatty today. Let's get the tools out. Here we go. We're going to begin by cutting a card base. And so let us take the Early Espresso cardstock. This is our 8.5 by 11 cardstock. By the way, I'm still having issues with the lighting in my room, and I don't know how to solve it. So if any of you are lighting experts and you want to drive to my house, I would love that. I will stand here, and then you can adjust all my lights, and we can see what works best. Okay, so here's my cardstock. I'm going to actually cut it in this direction at the 5.5 inch mark because we want it to be longer than 8.5 inches. 8.5 inches will not give us that overlap that you see here. We need to have a slight overlap. So we need to go beyond 8.5 inches. So we're cutting it here. That you can use for something else. And then we're going to turn it in this direction and we're going to score. We're going to score at 3.25 inches. Then we're going to score at, and I'm going to show you this stuff in a minute here, 3.25, 7.5. You can take a screenshot when I do show you these dimensions, but you don't need to because again, I have a PDF available that you can print off once the blog post goes live. So 7.5, and then we're going to trim at 9 inches. So we're 1/2 inch over 8.5. That's how we get that overlap there, okay? And this will fit into our medium size envelopes. Next, we have a few other pieces. We have another early espresso piece right here. We have a layer on top that is silver, and we have a layer on top which is white. And you'll see the measurements in just a second so that you can grab those. And then we also have another strip that is white. We have a few embellishments that I've already die cut. If you do not know how to die cut, you'll want to visit some of my earlier videos. I die cut all the time in front of people on these live videos, but today I'm sharing a lot. So these are my die cut pieces already done, and they are die cut from the designer paper of the Gingerbread and Peppermint Suite. So those are set up and ready to go. I have a gift card ready to go. And then we need to make our little gift bag. So we're going to take and use some copy paper for that. Copy paper, cotton paper, which is even thinner. Anything that's thinner than designer paper is going to give you really awesome results, okay? Daylight LEDs, I'd use them, Karen. Sorry, I just caught your comment. I have daylight LEDs in every single light, but my window off to the right keeps making me adjust my light. Like I have to put a black thing over the top of my window so that the light outside doesn't alter what the light inside's doing. And then sometimes what I'm wearing alters it. I think that's it too. All right, we're gonna cut at 4 inches. But yes, thank you for the suggestion and for trying to help me out there. So we're gonna cut at 4 inches and it's gonna go to the 7.5 inch mark. So just cutting off 1/2 inch on the end. We're gonna make our bag from this one piece because it's gonna kind of go like this and it's gonna come together and it's gonna pinch at the bottom, okay? So here we go. We need score lines. I'm gonna start in this direction first, parallel to the short end, and we're gonna score at 1/2 inch. And I'm using the measurements on this side of my trimmer for that. Let me zoom in so you can see better there. Okay, so I'm using that measurement right here because it's easier to hold on to my paper on this side. And when you use your scoring blade on thinner paper, you have to be really careful. You could actually cut your paper with the scoring blade. So be super careful about that. And then we're gonna go to the 1 inch mark. And then I'm gonna turn it around and I'm gonna score at 5. So I've done 1/2 inch, 1, and now I'm going to 5. Oh, you can't see that. Sorry, there's 5. And then we're gonna go to 5.5. And then I'm gonna go to 6. So we've just formed 2 gusseted sides of our bags. Okay, we have little 1/2 inch sections, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. And then we need another 1/2 inch at the very end. So we're gonna score at 10 inches. That's why we love this trimmer. Oops, trying to scroll out, there we go. We love this trimmer because we have this extendable arm here. So we're gonna go ahead and score at 10 inches. We're now gonna score in this direction. We're gonna score at 1/2 inch in on one long end, so parallel to the long side, 1/2 inch. We're gonna flip it around and we're gonna do parallel to the long side on the other side, 1 inch. This, believe it or not, is the top of the bag and this is the bottom. This is gonna be a part that overlaps onto itself, and it's going to help us to hide the little handles on our bag. So after you've done that, then you're going to do some cutting. And I'm not going to do all these cuts for you, but I'm going to tell you first of all where they are. I'm going to start cutting one, and then I'm going to show you one that's finished, because it takes a while for me to see, especially with the stupid lighting in my room today. I can't see where these score lines are. When I pull even up to my eyes, I can't see them. That's crazy. I think it's the white paper, but all right. So you're gonna cut out this square, this rectangle, this little rectangle here, which is 2 sections in, like that. So you're looking at these score lines, and you're cutting this and this, and up here, you're cutting that out. So you're cutting all the 4 corners out. And you want to cut as precisely as you can on those score lines, if not inside them a bit. So this one here. And then you've got these middle sections here too. So let's see here. Maybe what I'll do is I'll zoom in with my camera so you can see them a bit more. So there we go. So there's this section and this section. And when you're done, you will get this. Okay? So we have that. My zoom is going slow on me. This versus this. You're going to go from here to here. All right? Then after that, we're going to do some stamping. And I've pulled in the cinnamon cider ink because cinnamon cider coordinates with the designer paper. So now let's take a little break. I'm going to bring you over to the measurements so you can take a quick peek at the PDF that you'll be able to print off. You can do a screenshot if you need to, or you can just take a quick glance at everything, and then we'll come back to the desk and keep working. Oh, and my head is in the way. Let's move it over. I don't know. How about we just take it out for a minute, okay? We'll just take it out. So you can grab a screenshot if you want to. And now I moved my head. Hang on, I like being in the lower left, otherwise I'm gonna screw something up later. Okay, here's the paper. Gingerbread and peppermint. Cinnamon cider, early espresso, old olive, and real red are the colors. Hence the reason I'm wearing my new real red sweater. So you can see that we've got some fun patterns on here. I'm going to show, so there's, I think, 12 different sheets. You get 4 of each, double-sided 6x6 papers. So this one we're going to actually use on the card. You noticed that already. We'll just leave that there. And then we have some other basic kind of prints. Well, not basic prints. They're very yummy looking prints is what they are. But then you get into things like we've got these miniature cookies. Isn't that fun? Little gingerbread cookies. Stripes. And here we have larger cookies that you could fussy cut out. So you can fussy cut out the small cookies. You can fussy cut out these trees. Or you can invest in the dies, and you can then, oh, I'm so zoomed in. Sorry about that. And then you can die cut a lot of these. Now I say a lot because there are a couple, I think it's the mittens that you have to hand cut, but you can die cut all of these. Oh, there's the other side. You can die cut these stars, just not the mittens. You'll have to fussy cut those. You can die cut all of those, and even these guys, because there's a candy circle die. So fun designs, right? All of those. And then we have 2 sheets of candies with fun designs on the back that you can also die cut with these circles. So I've already done that. I've already got my pieces cut and ready to go. But that is the reason why we're using cinnamon cider. So set that stuff back there. Okay, so we're going to open up our cinnamon cider ink pad, and we're going to grab our Stampin' Pierce mat because we want to use our photopolymer stamps. And so I'm just going to tuck this underneath my grid paper. If you are somebody that likes to wrap your Stampin' Pierce mat in paper already, so you can just have it on hand and not worry about going off the edge when you are inking up something, you can totally do that. But I don't do that. You'll ink up your stamp, and I'm not going to do it all the way here. I'm just going to kind of demonstrate because I have another one already done with this too. But you're going to line up the left edge with the middle section of this gusset. And then you're going to have it come right up to that top. Remember, this is the top of the bag where the 1-inch section is. And you'll just stamp it down going straight across so that in the end, you have that. And that's where they're connecting, is in the middle of the gusset, because that's the part that you really don't see as much. You don't want to have your seam or where your stamps come together on one of these sections, because that'll look not so good. Okay, we're going to put our cinnamon cider, our stamp, and our pad away. I love my table back here. Just throw everything back there. Okay. So next, you can then fold as I've done here. So let me show you the folds. You're going to go in and out like that. You're going to go in and out like that, and this one's going to go in. And when you bring them together, you're going to have that look, and that's how you create the bag. Okay, this one will overlap that one like that. These two are the bottom. They're the part that attach to the inside of the card, and these two longer ones are the ones that are going to cover up any adhesive when we put the handles on the bag. So how are we going to make the handles on the bag? Let's grab our elegant trim. So we're going to use elegant trim. I'm choosing silver for this card, and I'm going to measure out about 4 inches twice. So I need 2 pieces that are 4 inches long. And if I make them exactly 4 inches each, or make them exactly the same each, then it's easier for me to eyeball putting the bag together, because I don't have to worry about pulling the handles in the same direction, all that stuff. I can just have you'll see, hang on, here we go. Now I'm gonna grab my Stampin' Pierce mat again. Now this one is my poked up one. It's got pokes all over it, right? Because I used to have in-person classes in my home. So I had tons of these, had one at every table, and had that one that wasn't pierced, and that's how I labeled them. But you don't need to do that. You can buy just one and poke on one side and keep the other side from getting poked into, and that way you know, you have a smooth surface for when you're doing your stamping, because it's a Stampin' Pierce mat. All right, so we've got our pierce mat here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this bag kind of together like this, just so I've got my sides connected, got everything lined up. Now remember, it goes in 1/2 of an inch in that little gusset, 1/2 of an inch on this side, 1/2 of an inch on that side. You want to make sure that everything's lined up at the top and at the bottom. Then you're going to grab your ruler again, which will help, or you can just, you know, glance and figure it out yourself. But I'm going to come down about 1/4 of an inch. So here's my score line. Zooming again. Here's my score line at the top. Here's the middle point, right? Because the bag is 4 inches wide, as you can see. I don't want to make pokey holes here or here or here or here. I want to stay within those sections where the 1/2 inch folds go in. So, and I think 1 and 3 is way too wide, so I actually have my holes for the bag handles starting at 1.5 and 2.5. So just on either side of the middle point. I also have come down about 1/4 of an inch. So with this stamp, it's perfect because I can just follow the lines of the stamp and line everything up, and then just poke at 1.5 and at 2.5. Okay, I've got my holes in there, which are kind of hard to see. Sorry about that. They are there. You know what? You'll see them on the other side. We'll just open it up. So there we go. There's the holes. There are the holes. And then we need to, and you know what? I'm gonna make these holes because these were on the back side. I'm just gonna go like that a little bit because it's gonna be easier to get the twine in there. You know, when you make a hole, your paper kind of pushes out in one direction versus another. So now what we do is we just weave our twine, our trim, I guess is what it's called, into those holes. So I'm gonna push that one in and push the end of this one in. And I don't care where they're at right now, I just want them through the holes. Do the same thing on this side. This is the part of the card that takes the longest, but it's so worth it because it's so super cute. For the other card that I have, I've already got my bag done. So if some of you are looking at the clock going, Rachel, you've got like less than 30 minutes left if you're going to stay within an hour. I'm going to try to go faster. I always do, right? So there is the handles. There are the handles coming through. And now I'm going to use tear and tape. Tear and tape adhesive is an awesome adhesive for anybody and everybody. You can tear it or you can cut it like I'm doing now. I'm just preferring to cut on this project. I think it makes it look more even and cleaner, especially when you have this thin paper. So I'm putting some adhesive just slightly underneath those holes. And then I'm going to use my bone folder to burnish that in. Yes, super easy adhesive to use, just like the multi-purpose liquid glue. That is a good adhesive to use too for beginners. So if you are adhesive challenged, those are the two I suggest. So now I'm just using my Take Your Pick tool again. I'm pulling up that release paper, and then I'm going to go from the back side. I'm going to pull on the trim just a little bit, and I'm going to make sure that it's stuck on one side and the other side about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inches, and that it's laying down nice and flat, okay? I don't want any twists in that twine. If I have twists, because I'm not paying attention to the other side of the bag when I'm doing that, then you have to pull it up and redo it, so be careful on that. And now we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So we're going to dig under there and grab it, pull the handle, stick it down. So this is what I meant about it's best to have the same size twine, because then your handles will look about the same size. Now be careful, don't stick that down yet, because we want it to actually stick down with a little bit more reinforcement. We're sandwiching. We're going to sandwich this twine in between 2 layers of adhesive. So now we're going to go over the top, and we're going to do the same thing where we're adding our tear and tape adhesive and trimming. And I've got just under 4 inches there. Same thing here. And that's going to really make sure that those handles do not leave the bag. Now, since we're doing this, we might as well just keep on adding our tear and tape adhesive. I'm going to add some here, close to the score line. That's another 4 inches right about there. Then we need some here, underneath that score line. And then we need one more, and this one, because these are going to wrap onto themselves like this, we need the tear and tape right on that underside right here. And that I kind of put in the middle. Well, maybe it's more closer to the score line, but I think if you put it in the middle, you're totally fine, because there's not a lot of pull on that. So, all right. Some of you are talking about the new products, it sounds like. Cranes. We have a crane in one of our new suites. Is that what you're talking about, Shirley? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get stuck on that tape. So we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing where we burnish our adhesive, and then we grab our Take Your Pick tool, and we're gonna pull up one corner here, if we can grab it. Same thing over here. And we're gonna slowly and evenly, that's the trick, slowly and evenly press down. Slowly and evenly press down. So you want to have those score lines already reinforced before you do that. Don't worry about the bump there. It's not going to show when you put the bag together. It's not going to be noticeable, I should say. Okay, then we want to fold our bag together like this, and we're going to actually just kind of fold it in half, and we're going to make this score go out the opposite direction. It's just going to be easier if you kind of flatten things out in that way. So there we have these two outer folds inverted the opposite direction that they're going to normally go. So when we put this adhesive down, all we have to do is keep this flat here. So I'm just going to put my bone folder there to remind me. I'm going to peel off the release paper. I'm going to keep everything lined up, top and bottom edges, and fold it over onto itself. Okay? Then you can take and bring these back into the inside of the bag to form those gussets again. And we're ready to add this to our card. We need to do one more thing before we assemble that card. We need to cut our gingerbread paper. So our gingerbread paper needs to be, if you look at this finished card here, it needs to be 5 1/4 inches tall on 1 piece, 2 piece, 3 pieces, and 4 pieces. That's just a little accent strip because it was left over, so I might as well use it, right? So we're gonna do 5 1/4 first. Oh my goodness, I'm zoomed in again, aren't I? Let me zoom out a bit. So, hi Tracy. Glad you're catching me during your lunch break. Okay, and then we're going to score, and oh, I think I put, see how there's like this dark little speckle on the bottoms and the corners? I think I put that towards the bottom of my finished card. I think it looked the best. So we have a 3-inch wide panel. We need that cut, and then we need to do a 1, I could look at my measurements, 1 1/4. Could look at my measurement sheet, but I'm gonna use the ruler. 1 1/4, and we'll do another one that's 1 1/4, but we'll do it on this side so we get that dark shading along the edge here. There we go. So there, we have our strips, and I'm also gonna keep them lined up with each other because I think it's gonna flow better if you don't twist things around like that, because then you, I mean, especially if there's a pattern to it, sometimes the pattern looks like it's jumping. So keep your pattern going in the same direction. And it's time. It's time. Okay, so we're just gonna slide that over. Here's the card. Let's reinforce the score lines. Okay, we're gonna first put, let's do the magnet first. Okay, that's safest. So we need to have a couple of magnets, and magnets, I've also got links to where I purchased them in the Amazon store, but they're 5mm by 1mm magnets, and they're pretty strong, so please be careful. Do not let anybody swallow them. Keep them away from animals and babies and all that stuff. Okay, so we're gonna take one of them. There we go, got them apart. And this one's gonna go right in the middle of this section here. We're gonna use this kind of tape, just because it'll hold it down, kind of like, I don't know. It just, it feels more secure to me to have a piece of tape like this. This is Scotch tape. Any kind of one-sided tape will work. You can use a glue dot, but it's gonna add dimension to your card. It's gonna add dimension. We don't want that. Okay, so this card here has just 1 magnet here and 1 magnet here. So we don't need to worry about the next one yet until we're done assembling this whole base. So let's go ahead and add these layers using seal adhesive, because that's pretty quick for me. I'm gonna put that over the top, keeping our dusty little dirty section of our layer of our designer paper down here. And then this one will go on the front. That's the other side of the paper that has that shading. So that'll go over here. And I've got 1/8 of an inch border all the way around, like so. Now when we open it up, I wanted something there, so that's why I had another piece that I cut. And then what was left over, and of course I have 2 pieces left over. I tossed the other one aside. It's over there somewhere. But I have this little strip. So I just added it over to the other side. You can decorate the inside of your card however you wish, but this is how I did mine. And then I thought, oh gosh, it would be nice to have a place where you can sign the card on the inside. So then I got this white piece here. This is just basic white cardstock. And that was placed here to kind of balance out the inside. Because you can see, now we have the same amount of brown here on either side. We can add the bag now. So the bag comes in and it's going to get tucked into this little section here. And to do that, you're going to have a slight gap. I just want to tell you that. You're going to see a slight gap. In fact, if you peek on the inside of this card, you can see the early espresso cardstock creased area inside there. You want that, otherwise you're going to have like bunching up happening. So just, keep that in mind. So we're going to peel off one side and attach that first, and I've just lined it up so it's even between the top and bottom, and I'm tucking it as far into that crease as possible, and I'm pressing down, and then I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Super easy to make this, isn't it? And that's going to go here like that, and there we have our little pop-up bag. So cute. Okay, and then you can of course put your gift card in there, but let's add a few decorations. I've got my little die cut pieces here. This piece is what we're gonna stamp on. So we're gonna grab our image, our other image from the Frosted Gingerbread stamp set, which I forgot to share with you. This is the stamp set that matches those dies. Isn't it amazing? I love this whole suite. It's so yummy. We're gonna use the stamp that says, wishing you a Merry Christmas. And we'll grab our Real Red ink. Stamp is angled on the block so that it's easier to stamp. You can just visualize the image and not the sides of the block. Press down. I should have had my Stampin' Pierce mat underneath. Some of you are yelling at me. Nicely. You're yelling at me nicely. I hear ya. All right, and then we're gonna go like this. Put some seal on there. Because we used the silver twine, I wanted some silver foil paper. This comes from our specialty pack that has 3 different kinds of silvers. Actually, 2 of them look very purpley to me. And then we'll mount that onto, oh, don't do that yet, Rachel. Hang on, I forgot. Between these 2 layers goes another magnet. So we're gonna close this. We're gonna add this layer here with a couple pieces of tear and tape. All right, this is where I need a helper. Where's my tear? Oh, there it is. It's underneath my trimmer. All right, so that's gonna go on like that. See, you can tear it. You don't have to always cut. That means you can go into the wilderness camping without a scissors and still use your tear and tape. So that's there. And then we're gonna go like this. And I've only put the tear and tape on the first 3/4 of an inch section. We're going to center that and we're gonna press it down. Then we're gonna use our other magnet and you're just gonna drop it. You're gonna keep the card closed and you're gonna drop the magnet and it's gonna grab to where it needs to go and it's gonna grab on the right side, the correct side I should say. If I try to flip it over, it'll do a somersault. So it's where it wants to go and you want the magnet to tell you where it's gonna go. And then we'll do another piece of tape here, seal that in, and then we'll go like this. And the last pieces, you're just gonna embellish on the inside. We have, oh gosh, like this little cookie here, this cookie here. I even brought, I die cut a gingerbread one so you could see, what that would look like if you wanted to do a different look there. And then you just put little candies on there. You put your red rhinestones on there to just add a little bit of bling. So I added 1, 2, 3 rhinestones on the inside and a rhinestone in the center of the word you. So, did I say into the wilderness? Did I? Some things come out of my, Karen, I don't know what I said. Sometimes just things come out of my mouth and I don't know what I'm saying. All right, we're gonna keep that open like that. So you can take a glimpse at that. Let me grab my red rhinestones really quick. Might as well. It's such a fun card. I just love this. We're gonna add a red rhinestone right in the middle of the U. Ta-da! All right, second card. Not gonna do the whole thing. All right, so is this my finished one? No, this is the unfinished. So I'm gonna put that off to the side. Okay, this one here. This one here, I do not have the PDF for yet, but again, I will share that on my blog on Saturday. This one, you'll notice, has the same kind of thing, but there's actually 2 magnets. There's a magnet here. Let's see, am I doing this right? Yep, there's a magnet here, and there's a magnet here. So there's 2 magnets within this section, and that's because it's just thicker layers. So I wanted to make sure that it held tight. So, so you're gonna cut your cardstock, which I've already done, to the measurements of 12 inches by 5.5. So this is from a 12-inch by 12-inch piece of cardstock. We have that in every color except basic black. So, why? I don't know. Talk to Stampin' Up. Everybody email Stampin' Up and tell them we need basic black 12 by 12. All right, There we go. And then we're gonna fold. Oops, we gotta go fold this way. Like that. Oh, it doesn't matter. We're folding, however we're folding, we're gonna get that look. Okay, we're gonna crease everything. Now when you put the magnets on this one, you want to put them, because you can see we don't have a layer here now, so we're putting them on the inside of the card. So you're going to take your 2 magnets, and 4 total, right? And you're going to place one here. And again, they're positioned in the middle somewhat, but they're about an 1.5 inches apart, maybe an inch apart. So there's one. And then you want to make sure that when you're doing this one, that they don't want to go on top of each other. Let's see here. Sorry, just checking something. They should be able to go right next to each other on the side. I think that's it. So they're going next to each other on the side. I don't think it matters. Just put the magnet on. And then you're going to tape it about the same distance right there. You'll take your 3 by 5 1/4 inch piece of designer paper, and you'll add that right over the top of it to conceal those magnets. And they're very thin, they're just 1 millimeter, so they don't, I mean, you can feel them, but you have to really press hard. This here, do you notice when I put this other one here, do you see what's going to happen in the middle? You've got this gap in the middle. So this is my 4 inch by 5 1/4 inch layer. You've got this gap here, and remember what our issue was before when we added our bag? It wasn't really an issue, but it was something that I thought maybe would, you know, not be appealing, and that was to see the seam of the card or the score line of the card on the inside of the bag. But you don't see that with this because this bag is the same color as the base of our card. So we are concealing it, and when you open it up on the inside, it's Handsome Hunter. It's evening evergreen color all the way through. This is evening evergreen color, by the way. Okay, then of course you'll put your designer paper on these 2 panels. We'll do that quickly. So the innermost one does not get a magnet. That one goes on like this, but the outermost one does. So that one's going to get this outside, this one over here, okay? And the other one on the label piece is going to be connected here. So right now we want to keep this folded, and we want to connect another magnet. Grabbing it. Be better with 2 hands. We're going to grab another magnet. Okay, oh, it's really close, but that's okay because it is underneath our little layer there, so we can do that. So we're going to go like that, and we're going to tape it down. In fact, you may want to put a little bit of like glue underneath it because it doesn't have anything holding it over here. I think it's going to be fine, but then you can put this on top. Like that. And again, even if your magnet peeks out a little bit, it's okay because we're going to cover that up with our gold layer. So when our card is closed like this, we can come over the top with our gold layer. And this comes from our gold foil pack, which you get in one color, and that's gold. And that's going to go on like this. By the way, the clearance rack got refreshed today, and silver foil is in there. So 2 full sheets of 12 by 12 silver foil is in there. Do you see how it's not quite closing down yet? We need another magnet. And that's going to go over on this side. Oh, I really needed to be more careful about that. So yeah, that magnet needs to be like about 1.5 inches away on that side. So you'll want to do that. Got to make a mistake somewhere in the video. Oh, let's do this, Rachel. Let's peel up this and shift it over. We can do that. We'll just go where the magnet wants to go. That's okay if it's off a little bit. When we open it up, actually, it'll look more centered, and we'll check that out right now. Well, it kind of looks a little more centered. That's okay. So we're gonna have it off. We're gonna have it off center. You can have something coming out here. I don't know, leaf spray or something. Next is this piece. This is just a white layer. Again, measurements will be on my blog on Friday or Saturday. Why do I keep saying Friday? So that'll go there. This one is designer paper, but I loved the ombre look. So this is what I found out when I was stamping on it with my Evening Evergreen ink using the Eden's Garden stamp set. So I'm stamping this image here. When I was stamping on it, it smeared and was sitting there for like a minute after I had stamped it, and it still smeared. So you have to let it sit a little bit longer on designer paper if you're inking up designer paper. I forget about that because I don't oftentimes use our classic ink on designer paper. But here's a trick if you want to go faster and you want a little sheen to it. Use clear embossing powder from your Basics embossing powder collection. We're inking up our stamp with just the classic ink, and we're going to quickly add our embossing powder over the top of that ink as it's wettest, okay? It's gonna have a little powdery look to it because it's holding on to powder. And then you're gonna take your embossing gun, your heat tool, I should say. Some brands, they call it embossing gun. I call it embossing gun all the time. It's our heat tool. Oh, it's sold out already. I see R had commented that the silver had sold out already. Which market was that though? Because everybody has different things on their clearance rack too. They do go quickly, Nancy. You are so right. Okay, I've got it nice and hot, and I'm gonna heat it and aim it away from me. And if I preheat it, it heats pretty quickly. And now you can see that there is this glossiness to it. There's like a, there we go. You can see that? So it's a raised embossed look. Fun. And we can add that to our card right here. And we can accent with these wonderful garden gems. They along with the designer paper and along with the cotton paper, are limited time. They're only going to be available through January 3rd, or while supplies last, I should say, because they could get sold out. So keep that in your thoughts if you love this look. There's that. That card got completely finished. Here is the final design of that. Move this out of the way here. So I've got a few bits of news to share. We have prizes to pick, and we have 5 minutes. You know what? My goal was always 40-minute videos, and yeah, it's not working. Okay, last chance list got shared on my blog. So you want to visit my blog at stampyourartout.com. You can click on the link at 12:15, like in 20 minutes, and you'll be able to see all that news. But there's a last chance list. I've posted the North American last chance list and the list of things that are carrying over. So what do I mean by that? We have a mini catalog that is ending soon. And so there are things in here that will no longer be available. First come, first serve on that too. And then we have things that will continue to be available, either ongoing or when the next July through December mini catalog comes out in 2022. So they'll go what's called dormant. They'll like fall asleep for a while. So check out those lists, shop for things that you want to get. Some of them are discounted up to 50% off. The other thing that I want to tell you about is clearance rack. I told you about that. Again, that's while supplies last. And so if you click on my link, you'll be able to get to there, or you can just go directly to the store if you're in a hurry, you guys. And I do have a link on my blog that says shop. You can click on that. I've also got a link in my description that says shop. And you can go right to the store and start shopping the clearance rack products. These are things that have been retired but have come back because they had like a surplus in the warehouse still and they wanted to get rid of them, so they've discounted them up to 60% off. Then pre-order day started today for demonstrators. I expedited. I got up at 2:45 a.m. That's why I'm kind of like on this zoom, zoom, zoom. I'm going to crash after this video is done. And I did my pre-orders. I ordered a lot. And I've expedited them, so I get it ASAP, which I think is tomorrow. First, I'm sharing with my team in our group, along with my team leader, Susan Campfield. We're going to share these things on Friday night. And then on Saturday morning, I'm going to go live in my Facebook page. So if you are on Facebook, visit me at Stamp Your Art Out with Rachel. I'm going to go live on my page, not in my group. And I'm going to try to remember to share the video to my group. So if you don't know where you're supposed to be, hopefully it'll pop up somewhere. And again, with Facebook, the lives just happen. You can't give a link right before. You just have to keep refreshing your screen to find them. So best wishes with that. Also, so I'm going to be sharing the products that I've pre-ordered. New tutorials landed on my blog. Oh, time, by the way. I'm aiming for 9 a.m. Central Time. I don't know why. And then new tutorials landed on my blog from the All-Star group, so you'll want to check those out. We used the Bloom Where You're Planted suite of products. Really awesome projects once again. And Country Hive is having their last day of their sale. So Country Hive is owned by a demonstrator in my group, Ashley Carlson, and her husband, James. And together they have made some awesome storage products for Stampin' Up! Product and other crafting products. And you'll want to check them out. It's at countryhive.com. They're having a, what's it called? A customer appreciation sale. You'll be able to find information for that also in my blog post today. But hop on over there, thecountryhive.com, and you'll be able to get 20% off anything and everything that you want. So I think that's it. Oh my goodness. So I'm just going to bring in the other card here. I have flying die cut pieces going all over the place. Check out all the cards. I'm going to zoom out a bit so you can kind of see them all at once again. Oh, that's zooming in, Rachel. Prize time. We're going to first go over to my computer, and I'm going to show you the prize winner that we picked for the After Live from 2 weeks ago. And that After Live winner gets 3 rows of these beautiful new gems. They're called iridescent rhinestones. This is a new product. And also a half a pack of the Sweet Talk designer paper cut into 6x6 sheets, which I showed off that week. And that person is, there we go, Kathy. Kathy Oust. Congratulations to you, Kathy. I am so happy for you. Let's go back to the table because we want to show prizes for this time. And this one's more random because I don't have new products yet, so I can't offer new products yet. But I have some things that are just sitting around that I think maybe you guys would like. And Trisha is going to pick 2 winners from the live commenters today. So you'll each get a choice, even if you're the last winner chosen from the After Live comments. So the first 2 winners are drawn during the live, and you get to pick from 4 different things. I have got a non-pierced, oh, it's got a little bit of a scuff over here. You can just, I don't know, clean that off with rubbing alcohol, probably pre-stamped. But it's a pretty clean Stampin' Pierce mat. If you don't own one yet, that could be your prize. If you don't own the Candy Canes background stamp yet, that could be your prize. This is another Eden's Garden stamp set that I have. It works just fine, but I did use one of the stamps. But there you go, if you want that. Or you can have the matte decorative dots in these 4 colors. So let us go back to the computer. I'm going to check out who she has picked for winners. On that note, yes, congratulations. Talking straight for an hour. I will be live again next week. There it is. There it showed up. Awesome. Thanks so much, Trisha. It looks like the Cove Crafter and Joanne Peterson are my 2 winners today. Congratulations. Yay. So reach out to me at stampyourartout.com so I can get those prizes to you. If you don't live in the US, I can send you a tutorial instead through the email. So, but again, I will be back live with you on December 8th. That's next Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Time. I hope everybody can join in at that time. And I think I didn't forget anything. So I'm going to let you all go back to what you were doing before. Thank you for watching. And now I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye.